My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Alien 3. So, I watched the theatrical version a few years ago and hated it. But I was told to watch the special edition version and that it's much better. So, I watched it last night and I still hate it. This movie is just a giant piece of shit. Like, I love the Alien franchise, but this one is so obviously the worst one, and nothing else comes close. Like, it's just a really terrible movie. But let's begin talking about the performances. And Sigourney Weaver, I think, is pretty bad in this movie. It just feels like more of the same. She's given no extra material to work with, and it just feels like been there, done that. I don't think this is her best work by any means necessary. Charles S. Dutton, I think, is pretty forgettable. Nothing about him stands out. Charles Dance, Tywin Lannister, I think is pretty bad in this movie. And then Lance Henriksen is barely in this movie, but he does a fine job. I do like how he's brought back for a few minutes. I thought that was a great moment. But yeah, he's just not in this movie much, and everybody else in this movie is as bland, as generic, and as forgettable as they come. Nobody else leaves any bit of impression. They just feel like throwaway characters. So when bad things happen, I don't really care because I have no idea who these characters are. And I think this movie's biggest issue is the fact that it's so incredibly slow and boring. Like, this movie never grabs your attention, and it just goes on and on and on, and it's just lifeless. It really is. And on top of all that, it offers nothing new. You've got this great premise of Ripley stuck on a prison planet getting hunted down by an alien dog, and they just make it feel like the same movie. Like, these are prisoners. These are terrible people. So why not take advantage of that and have a human element as well? But the movie just plays out as you'd expect it to. It's just very safe and lacks any bit of an edge. Like, if I want to watch this story, I will always just pick Alien or Aliens over this one. And this movie still got some cool practical effects, but so much of this movie relies on CGI and it looks like shit. Like, the CGI in this movie has not aged well in any sense. Like, it's just ugly and takes me out of the movie whenever it appears. And for a scary movie, this movie is never tense or disturbing. It's just a big nothing movie. David Fincher is one of my favorite directors. He has made some of my favorite movies such as Gone Girl, The Social Network, Seven, Zodiac. But here, I know he has disowned this movie, but it's still really poorly directed. And what else? Well, let's just talk about the beginning of this movie because they completely fucked over the ending of Aliens. Spoiler alert, by the way. The fact that they kill Newt in the way that they do is just as unsatisfying, as empty as it comes. Like, it just feels like they wanted to go back to basics, and it feels like a devolution of this franchise instead of an evolution. I thought it was such a stupid, terrible decision. It pisses me off, and you feel nothing. So not a fan of that in any way, shape, or form. The only other bit of credit I'll give this movie is the fact that Ripley having a Kree xenomorph inside of her is a really cool idea, but it's also just handled so terribly. Like, you never feel like she's on the verge of death. You never feel like this thing is about to come out of her. The movie tells you it is, but you don't feel it. So, yeah, I hate this movie. I think it's boring. I think it's an empty, lifeless experience. It's a giant step down for the franchise. So I'm giving Alien 3 a 1 out of 10. Okay, have you seen Alien 3 or Alien Cubed? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin, out.